Right now on Morning News Now, start and stop mixed signals on the Middle East straight from President Trump this morning. The commander-in-chief laying the groundwork for more peace talks with Iran starting later today. But the diplomatic reversal comes just days after he threatened major new attacks on Iran's civilian infrastructure. How America's allies in the region reportedly helped move that fragile conversation forward. Terrifying moments at a fast food drive-thru in Idaho over the weekend. On your screen, dramatic, newly released video of a bystander appearing to fire back at the gunman who killed at least 3 people at an In-N-Out burger. Why police say his heroic actions helped save countless lives. Plus, the heartbreaking new calls for help from our own Savannah Guthrie 6 months after her mother Nancy was taken on that February night. Savannah's desperate plea to the public as authorities finally released those 2 ransom notes that could be from her alleged abductor. The latest in a moment. And could the future of modern medicine be flight? Later in the hour, the major healthcare system that's now taking to the skies all to get patients their prescriptions in record time. Did you see that there, that little drone? Pretty cool. Good morning. Thanks so much for kicking off your work week with us. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe's off today. We're going to begin our show with a potential new de-escalation in the war with Iran. So just days after threatening massive attacks on Iran's civilian infrastructure, President Trump says new peace talks with Tehran will start this afternoon. Over the weekend, the president said the U.S. was ready to launch the attacks, but later called them off amid what he said were the perimeters of a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. It's not the first time the president has backed down after escalating threats against Iran. NBC News correspondent Chris Pallone joins us now with more on this. Chris, good morning.
Yeah, Savannah, good morning to you. Will these new negotiations finally end the war that has now lasted more than 5 months, or is this once again a case of history repeating?
President Trump says negotiations between the U.S. and Iran to end the war resumed today. The announcement comes just 2 days after he threatened massive new strikes against Iran's civilian infrastructure.
We'll be hitting them. We'll be hitting them very hard. And, at some point they're going to say, we just can't take it anymore.
But the president said Sunday U.S. allies in the Middle East, fearing more Iranian attacks against them, asked the U.S. to hold off.
When the allies ask to call it off, we got to sort of say, well, let's see. And the reason they asked is they think there's a deal.
The back-channel diplomacy worked really hard to convince President Trump to give a chance for diplomacy again.
The president said the U.S. was poised to conduct its largest military strike since World War II. Hours earlier, U.S. embassies recommended Americans consider leaving the region. Since the war began in February, this is at least the 4th time President Trump has threatened to escalate attacks on Iran before calling them off. Democrats skeptical that anything has changed.
He's trying to get us back to February, and I think if he could, if he had a big reset button he could hit, he would certainly take that option.
We're ready to go anytime we want. Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people. People die. We don't want that.
The president says there's no deadline for negotiators to reach an agreement.
And despite what the president said, a spokesperson for Iran's foreign ministry said this morning no talks are currently taking place with the United States and said earlier the regime will not back down in the face of threats. Savannah, back to you.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. Well, this morning we're learning more about the terrifying moments that a gunman opened fire at a fast food drive-thru in Idaho on Saturday, killing at least 3 people. Well, new video appears to show an armed bystander firing back at the shooter, attempting to stop the attack. Police say that man's heroic actions likely saved several lives. NBC News correspondent Dana Griffin spoke to one witness who watched it all unfold from his car.
New video showing the moments a man stepped in to stop a shooter who opened fire outside this Idaho In-N-Out burger Saturday afternoon, sending people running for their lives.
What's happening?
What happened?
What's happening?
Shoot. Go. Just go. Go.
You see a gunman with an AR-style rifle unleashing several rounds in the drive-thru of the popular fast food chain, which opened just days ago in Twin Falls. Another man then returns fire. Lane Cohen witnessed the shooting from his car.
Is he a hero?
Yeah, I would say he definitely distracted the shooter from shooting more people. The shooter is solely focused on him. and it allowed us to get out. I mean, the car directly ahead of me was getting shot.
Police crediting that man and an off-duty state trooper who also returned fire with helping save lives. Officials say 3 people were killed and at least 7 others injured. The president and owner of In-N-Out confirming one of her employees was killed.
I could see an employee trying to carry another person out. She had a gunshot wound to the chest. He was just screaming her name. Tell her, wake up, wake up.
Taxi driver Terry Dudley was shot while charging his car. His son Michael says his father is now intubated in the hospital.
He's in pretty rough shape. I haven't been able to talk to him.
Officials say the gunman, identified as 24-year-old Chad Williams, died from a self-inflicted gunshot. His motive still unclear. Police commending the heroic actions of that off-duty state trooper and citizen, saying they most definitely saved lives. We're also learning new information about the survivors. 5 remain hospitalized. 2 are listed in critical condition. Back to you.
All right, Dana Griffin, thank you very much. Just heartbreaking. Well, let's head to Washington now, where several senators unveiled a short-term spending bill that would keep federal agencies funded into early December, avoiding a shutdown of the government during the middle of campaign season. NBC News political reporter Megan Brand joins us with more on this. Megan, good morning. So first, just tell us about the stopgap measure. When does the current funding run out?
Good morning, Savannah. So the current funding would run out at the end of September, and senators over the weekend appeared to give their blessing to this new agreement between both sides. This would be a continuing resolution, meaning that it would fund the government at mostly the same levels through mid-December, meaning that this would mean that senators would not have to go back to their states to campaign during a government shutdown. It would prevent there being a government shutdown while this funding battle was playing out, if this ultimately does pass. Now, there are still several steps for this bill to actually make it forward. First, it actually has to pass the Senate. Then, if it does pass the Senate, the House would have to vote on this once they are back from August recess, which would happen at the very beginning of September. So it would go ultimately through at least part of September. But the timing of this is interesting as well. One, because this is happening at the beginning of August and not at the end of September, when this funding would ultimately run out. Oftentimes, senators wait until the very last minute to try to hash out some of these negotiations over government funding. And then another reason as well is the fact that this would mean that it would potentially, if it passes, prevent them from having a government shutdown right ahead of the midterm elections. Savannah.
Megan, something else I want to ask you about, the latest on the fight over the nomination of Todd Blanche to be Attorney General. What's happening there?
Well, there was a major development overnight where Todd Blanche had said that there was an agreement in order to amend this settlement between President Trump and the IRS over his leaked tax returns. That was a major sticking point. That was the reason why 2 Republican senators had expressed hesitancy in supporting Blanche moving forward. So Blanche had said in this overnight statement that the Department of Justice had created a new order that had gotten rid of a previous order that had established that so-called anti-weaponization fund. Now, the order as well, this new Department of Justice order, also amended another part of the settlement that provided protections to President Trump, his family members, and his businesses from tax audits. Now, this new order clarified that that would only apply retroactively, basically meaning that it would not provide protections from future audits for future tax filings as well. So now we're keeping an eye on how Senator John Cornyn of Texas and Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, those 2 Republican holdouts on Blanche, are responding to this. We heard from a spokesperson for Senator Cornyn, who had said in a statement that the senator had reached an agreement with the Department of Justice, and we're keeping an eye for how Senator Tillis responds later today, Savannah.
Megan, also over the weekend, President Trump lashed out at Jeanine Pirro for dropping the case against a former Olympic canoeist who was accused of vandalizing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. What happened here?
Yeah, so President Trump lashing out against Jeanine Pirro comes after the Department of Justice had dropped that case against Davy Hearn, the Olympic canoeist, after the Justice Department had said in a court filing, prosecutors said in a court filing, that after Hearn was indicted, that the Department of the Interior provided new documentation that indicated that the damage to the reflecting pool had been caused by what it referred to as flawed installation by the contractor and not by vandalism. So President Trump had weighed in on Truth Social, criticizing Pirro, saying that he 100% disagreed with Pirro, and she's the U.S. Attorney for D.C., which is the office that had been prosecuting the case, arguing that he still believed that it was a pure case of vandalism, is how he put it. He wrote there may have been some contractor difficulty, but the major damage was caused by vandals. Though I do want to note, Savannah, he has not provided evidence for this.
All right, Megan Brand, thank you so much. Well, sticking with political news, a Republican congressman from Ohio is facing growing calls to drop his bid for re-election over allegations of domestic abuse. Max Miller is accused of abusing his ex-wife amid a tense divorce and custody battle. In a new video posted on social media, he denied all the allegations against him. NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin has more.
Republican Congressman Max Miller doubling down on his re-election bid and defending himself against claims of abuse by his ex-wife.
I'm not getting out of this race.
As his former father-in-law, Republican senator who's close to President Trump, says he is not fit to serve.
Let me begin with the most painful accusation of all. I have never abused our daughter. I categorically deny abusing my former wife.
And after a lengthy live video on X, the two-term Ohio congressman posting a Dropbox folder he says contains the keys to his innocence, months into a bitter custody dispute between him and his former partner Emily Moreno, the daughter of Senator Bernie Moreno. She accuses Miller of throwing hot water on her and holding a gun to her head, according to police reports. In February, police also investigated after their daughter suffered a broken collarbone and bruising. The cause of those injuries is disputed. Miller denies all allegations and has not faced criminal charges.
If I had assaulted her, would she have offered to cook me dinner 6 days later?
Senator Moreno writing in response today that Miller's behavior is, quote, erratic and dangerous, making it impossible to keep this matter private, and calling on Miller to leave the House of Representatives. Miller shot back, accusing Moreno of speaking out now for political reasons. A person close to Senator Moreno tells NBC News he paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees on behalf of his daughter, and that this has been painful for the senator, who is concerned for his grandchild, too. The president weighing in.
Well, I'm going to look at it. I mean, so far it's accusations. I'll be looking at it.
Earlier this year, House Speaker Mike Johnson said Miller has
Got to work that out.
And a spokesperson for Emily Moreno says Miller can lie and spin on X, but he cannot do so under oath in a court of law. Julie Sirkin, NBC News.
Well, police in Atlanta released body cam footage of the dramatic rescue of a toddler who had been kidnapped. New footage shows the moments police officers responded to an urgent call from a mother who said her car was stolen with her 2-year-old daughter inside. NBC News correspondent Ryan Chandler has more on the rescue.
A daring rescue.
Jazz, run the tag back.
Atlanta police rushing to save a 2-year-old girl from a carjacker.
Hands up! Yo! Don't move!
Mom making a frantic 911 call on Thursday.
Someone just stole my car, and it has my 2-year-old daughter in it.
You said your daughter's inside the vehicle?
Yes, my 2-year-old daughter was in the back seat. I was dropping off an Instacart order, and I came back outside, and so my car is gone.
Police scanning the city streets with license plate readers, tracking the car down 3 miles away in under 15 minutes.
Hands on the window now!
Watch the moment officers approach the car with guns drawn, arresting 21-year-old Salim Martin.
Get out the car, slow.
Martin now facing 6 charges, including kidnapping and cruelty to children.
It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay, baby.
Officers calming the crying toddler. Mom and child finally reunited as a parent's worst nightmare came to an end. Ryan Chandler, NBC News.
Well, out west, more than a dozen wildfires are burning near Spokane, Washington, and they've destroyed at least 600 structures and forced thousands of people to evacuate. NBC News correspondent Camila Bernal has the latest.
Raging flames in Washington state. Thick billowing smoke seen here covering the sky. A passenger recording the smoke as they landed in Spokane.
Cops are asking us to leave.
The threat forcing thousands to evacuate.
It was scary. The wind was blowing, and it was blowing the smoke backwards and forth.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God, dude. Holy I gotta get out.
In Spokane County, homes like these reduced to ash. Officials say at least 600 structures have been destroyed.
Can't even believe everything that happened, how many people had to evacuate.
Gone. Oh.
As more than a dozen major fires tear across the state, scorching over 250,000 acres. From the air to the ground, firefighters battling the blaze.
These fires are still very active. They are still posing an extreme fire danger.
Fires also raging in other states across the West this weekend. 48 million remain under heat alerts from parts of California to the Dakotas.
It feels like there's just endless days near 100 degrees.
Well, as the heat and wildfires continue to impact the West Coast, over here on the East Coast, going to need to get your umbrellas out. We've got all the details with our Morning News Now weather meteorologist Rafael Miranda joins us this morning. Hey, Raf, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. Yeah, a very rough commute here in the Northeast right now. We're tracking flash flooding for millions across Northeast. Here's a look at the radar, and you can see that very heavy rain extending from the Washington, D.C. area through New York City, right along 95 here. We've had reports of flash flooding through the morning, and this continues to dump torrential rainfall all the way up towards New England. This will continue for the next several hours. Look at all the flash flood warnings now in effect from Massachusetts back down towards New Jersey. Treacherous travel. Watch out for significant delays here. We've already had several inches of rain, and there is more on the way, not just here in the Northeast, but also down towards the Southeast. We're tracking some intense rainfall between 1 and 3 inches down into Florida as well, and some area of rain across portions of the Midwest. Now, the fires that you were talking about, Savannah, so many of them still burning. 99 large wildfires still burning in the lower 48, mainly out west and in the Rockies, of course. Today's fire risk is elevated for this area shaded in yellow here. We have the combination of low humidity and winds gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. So these fires can easily spread and get out of control here. We'll be tracking that throughout the day. Because of all the fires, air quality is an issue. It's been greatly affected across portions of the Intermountain Northwest, places like Spokane in that unhealthy range right now. Boise also seeing unhealthy and very unhealthy readings across portions of the Northwest because of all that smoke. And it's even drifting towards Salt Lake City and North Dakota. We'll be dealing with air quality issues as long as these fires persist. Heat is the big story in the Southwest. Again, 35 million impacted by extreme heat in the desert Southwest. Yes, it's typically hot this time of year, but this is next level. We're talking about the major risk for heat or heat health related impacts are likely for 18 million across the Southwest. And when you look at the extreme risk category, 8 million, a long duration to this type of heat can be deadly. This is across, again, portions of the desert Southwest, all the way from Texas to California. All right, let's take a look at temperatures today. Again, 114 in Phoenix. That is about 10 degrees above average. Las Vegas also well into the 100 teens. And this continues into tomorrow. No relief yet. Temperatures in the triple digits there. And when this goes on for much of the week, take a look at the high temperatures from El Paso towards Las Vegas, well into the triple digits. For the East Coast, of course, a very different story. In fact, a little cooler than average today with that rainfall. A wet start to the work week there. Heading through the rest of the week here, Tuesday into Wednesday. A few more spotty showers. A chance of rain for the Midwest for the middle of the week. Again, those toasty temperatures continue out west. And a look at the end of the work week, staying a little soggy and unsettled here in the Northeast with some showers and storms, tracking some monsoon rain in the Southwest. Busy week ahead. Savannah?
No kidding. All right. Oof, gosh, it was pouring this morning on my way in. Rap, thanks so much. Well, this morning there is a rare and dire warning from the American Red Cross. It's about a critical blood shortage across the country. Blood donations typically do decline during the summer, but a combination of surprising factors this year has health officials sounding the alarm. NBC News correspondent Valerie Castro has the details.
The American Red Cross declaring a national blood supply crisis for just the second time ever.
It's the lowest amount of collections we've had in 4 years.
The shortage coming during a busy summer season, what the Red Cross calls the 100 deadliest days between Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Those happen to be mostly driven by motor vehicle accidents that happen out on the open roads. You know, when people are out on boats and doing other activities, that sometimes those days don't go to plan and emergencies happen, and we are seeing an increase in number of traumas.
Extreme heat impacting donation sites, and foodborne illnesses keeping otherwise healthy donors away. Sporting events, too, like the World Cup, a fun distraction, but adding to the dire drop in donors.
If I had an emergency today and went to a hospital, would I have trouble getting what I needed in terms of blood?
So the Red Cross and its hospital partners will always prioritize life-threatening emergencies.
But scheduled procedures like heart surgeries or joint replacements could be delayed.
The impact on the patients is huge. We have to be very extra cautious about our blood utilization, and we have to, sometimes make tough decisions on who's receiving the blood.
And there's no stockpiling. Blood is perishable with no substitution for it. If just 3 more people make that sacrifice at each blood drive this summer, the Red Cross says the crisis could be over.
We appreciate you. It's nice.
Valerie Castro, NBC News.
All right, we've got much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now, including some new developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie. What exactly was in those 2 ransom notes sent to police just days after her abduction 6 months ago? First, though, after the break, we're taking you overseas as Naples, Italy reels from that sizable 4.7 magnitude earthquake that struck over the weekend. We have the devastating scenes from its aftermath up next. Welcome back. In overseas news, a 4.7 magnitude earthquake shook Naples on Friday night, causing widespread outages, structural damage, and dozens of injuries. NBC's Matt Bradley has the story.
It was the strongest quake to strike southern Italy in 4 decades. The 4.7 magnitude earthquake on Friday night near Naples triggered rock slides, crumpled buildings, and crushed cars, leaving residents and tourists rattled. The quake left more than 24 people injured, 5 of whom were admitted to hospitals. This woman says her father built their house. Now they have nothing left. The area is prone to earthquakes, but there's anger at the local government, with some people arguing the response was slow. This woman says no one came to check on them or told them what to do after the quake. One victim remains hospitalized, according to Italian officials. But the emotional aftershocks here are still being felt. Matt Bradley, NBC News.
Well, firefighters in France are now starting to contain the deadly wildfires that have scorched parts of the country over the past couple of weeks. Now, despite hundreds of thousands of acres being burned, the French government says the country is still safe to visit. That is a welcome message for many of the country's vineyards that rely on international tourism for business. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez went to one of those vineyards in Bordeaux to see firsthand how the wildfires are impacting wine country.
The wildfires raging across southern France have burned hundreds of homes, forced thousands to evacuate, and sent clouds of threatening smoke over Bordeaux's world-famous wine region. To find out how the wine industry is weathering the flames, we traveled to the Chateau de Rouillac, an estate once owned by the nobleman who designed central Paris. Laurent Cisneros opened his winery here 16 years ago, and now these vines produce enough grapes for up to 120,000 bottles a year.
Is there any danger from the fires here?
No, because the vineyard is protected. The only problem we have is economic, because people have been told not to come to vineyards and to Bordeaux, even though the vineyards are open to the public.
Vineyard tourism is an increasingly important part of the global wine industry. Chateau de Rouillac usually welcomes 6,000 visitors a year, including Americans like Sebastian Joseph Day, defensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Usually you will have a lot of people coming. You will have tourists stopping from the highway. And as you can see today, it's pretty empty because it's totally empty today.
No visitors means no tourism revenue. A major blow for a business now expanding into hosting weddings for international couples. Cisneros tells us his grapes, which are still young and will stay on the vine until August, won't be affected by the smoke.
The wine is going to taste okay?
Yeah, it's okay. Today, the maturity of the grapes is at the stage of early ripening. The skin is hard and thick, so there is no risk.
Paradoxically, he says the intense heat means the grapes need less humidity treatment this year. And so 2026 may end up an unusually natural vintage. But for now, there's little to do but wait for the tourists to return
Santé.
Santé,
santé. Cheers.
And raise a glass to a future, hopefully free from flames. Raph Sanchez, NBC News.
Well, the wildfire crisis in Europe is now making its way east to Greece. Over the weekend, firefighters battling the flames there were involved in a deadly mid-air collision. NBC's Matt Bodner joins us now to take us around the world in 60 seconds. Hey, Matt, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. 2 firefighting helicopters collided yesterday while battling a massive wildfire raging to the west of Athens. Both aircraft had 2 crew members aboard, and one of those crews did die in the collision. The crew from the other aircraft is being treated in the hospital. Gale force winds in Greece are complicating the airborne firefighting efforts and also fueling the fires. Moving along now to Australia, where a former coach for the national rugby team is on trial over accusations of sexual offenses against 6 men and boys. The accusations range over a period of 20 years. The 85-year-old defendant in the case is Alan Jones. He was later known for his work as a Sydney radio host. 70 witnesses are lined up for the trial, which is expected to take months. And we'll wrap up this hour with New Zealand ultra runner Sophie Woods. Over the past month, she's run 1,240 miles across 8 European countries, setting the record for a route known as the Via Alpina. She beat the previous record by 6 days. That was set by British runner Jake Catterall in 2024. Back to you.
All right, Matt. Very cool. Thank you so much. Well, coming up, the latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie this morning. After the break, an emotional new plea to the public from Savannah herself as police release those 2 ransom notes that could have come from the alleged abductor 6 months after Nancy's disappearance. This is Morning News Now. We are back with a story that is very personal to us. It's the ongoing search for Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. Saturday marked 6 months since her disappearance. Well, now Savannah and her family are once again pleading for whoever is responsible to come forward with answers. It comes as the Sheriff's Department has released 2 ransom notes that were sent the week after Nancy's abduction. NBC News correspondent Camila Bernal has the details.
6 months after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, a heartbreaking message from her daughter Savannah, who says she and her family have lived every moment, every breath, and every heartbeat in agony and despair ever since, and renewing a call for help in the case. We are desperate. We need someone to come forward. Someone knows something. Someone suspects something. Someone recognizes the writing in the ransom demand notes. The notes, potentially from a kidnapper and sent to local news outlets at the time of Nancy's disappearance, were released by the Sheriff's Department Friday. The first note demanded up to $6 million. She will be held for ransom, and once payment is received, she will be released unharmed. Days later, a second note saying, "We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now."
The style of the writing is might jog somebody to kind of think about who would have written that.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano saying investigators don't see this as a cold case, telling NBC News,
"We have some of the brightest minds in the world on this. Our DNA is being analyzed not by our lab or the FBI lab, but by several labs around this country."
The Guthrie family still offering a reward. "We will never stop looking for answers, and we will never stop looking for the light," Savannah said.
I think we're going to get to some resolution here. I just wish I could say it's going to happen tomorrow or next week.
Camila Bernal, NBC News.
NBC News law enforcement analyst Evie Pamporos is here with more on this investigation. Evie, always great to have you with us. Okay, so, I mean, it's been months. It's been 6 months. We never saw these ransom notes. Investigators had not released them. First, let's just talk about why now. Why were they a secret? Now they're public. Why would they do that?
I think they're releasing them now to reinvigorate the investigation. To me, from an investigative perspective, I don't need to release anything new if things are moving along. So when I see that and the combination of Savannah pleading, I think it's probably thought out, you know, maybe we can create a little bit momentum, maybe they can write back to us, maybe we can create more buzz. So I think that this is really to kind of reinvigorate the investigation. If you're moving along, you don't need anything new. You don't need to do this. They needed to do this because they're trying to bring life back to the investigation.
What stands out to you from these two notes? Can you glean anything?
So I've done a linguistic analysis, actually. It's when you read statements from people and you analyze what they're saying. I want to say first, science and evidence solve investigations. So you can look at these, you can analyze these and try to figure out who wrote them. Is there anything with that linguistic style? But in the end, I don't know really where it's going to take you. The way I would use linguistic analysis typically would to derive a person's thinking, their motive and whatnot. Now, the one thing that is interesting to me is that actually in the second note, they apologized. Right? And they're telling you we didn't intend to do this. And it's probably true. Otherwise, they would not have written that. You could also look at, and something actually you brought up off camera, the way they refer to the U.S. dollar. You know, would a citizen refer to it that way? It could have been somebody maybe from overseas. But at the same time, you would have to think that they really thoughtfully, perhaps, when they wrote these and wrote them in such a way to kind of throw people off. So I just don't know from the language if you're really gonna get that much information. To me, the big thing would be like, how did they send them, which was electronic, and tracing that back. The other thing that I noticed is, and they actually blacked out the instructions for the ransom. So that probably is because they don't want, if you think about the case when it was actually happening, think about the onslaught of people in that town and that location. I'm thinking maybe there's location information, maybe they don't want individuals going into whatever instructions or sites, perhaps. So it might tamper the information or tamper evidence, or just having people come on in is gonna kind of throw things into a array. You wanna control as much as you can without having the public coming in and sort of touching everything.
How unusual is it in a case like this, 6 months in, to be at the place that this investigation seems to be, to have no suspects?
I think it's unusual because of the light that's been on it, because it's Savannah's mother, because of all the media. That is where I kind of pause. Do we have many cold cases? Yes, we do. But the fact that there's so much attention on this case, and there have been, you know, and I'm just relaying what was heard, issues between supposedly FBI and the local. FBI made claims like, hey, the locals didn't let us in early enough. Locals are saying we did. And I will tell you, as someone who worked in this field, both local and federal, those things do happen. And sometimes, and again, I can't say that this is happening or this happened in this case, where local authorities don't want federal authorities coming in because they want to take ownership of the case. They don't want to hand it over. I mean, I would go to local departments and I would have to walk in and almost sometimes plead my case and say, hey, I'm here to work with you. I'm not here to take anything away from you. That would just genuinely happen. I mean, more so, I would even have to say I'm U.S. Secret Service, which had a much, I don't want to say better reputation, but a different reputation in working with, and that would help ease things. So I do think that played a role, and here we are.
What could jumpstart this at this point? What is the type of thing it takes 6 months in to have a breakthrough?
The breakthrough is going to be if we get any type of correspondence from these individuals. I don't know if we will, but that creates new leads. Another breakthrough, and I'm trying to think of how to say this because we're here at NBC, the discovery of Nancy, right? Could that lead to evidence, forensic evidence, any ability to trace communication if something new were to happen? I'm suspecting they hit a dead end as far as tracing how this information was passed. And honestly, maybe somebody out there growing a conscience, feeling bad, or seeing something, saying, you know what, I think I saw this. Because the individuals who did this are still out there. Where, we don't know, but they still exist. So then you kind of hope somebody saw something. You know, if you see something, say something.
Absolutely. Evie Pompouras, thank you so much for walking us through this one. Like we mentioned, it's, of course, it's personal and it's tough. But as Evie was just saying, someone does know something. If you have any information in the Nancy Guthrie case, please call the FBI tip line. It's on your screen right now. It's just 1-800-CALL-FBI. The Guthrie family is also offering a $1 million reward for information. Well, coming up, the future of flight. It looks like it's coming for your medicine cabinet next. When Morning News Now returns, the American healthcare giant that's looking to drone technology to help patients get their precious prescriptions without waiting in line. We'll show you how it works after this. We are back with a check-in on our economy this morning. Oil prices are sliding again amid hopes the Iran war might be de-escalating. That is after President Trump held off on a new round of attacks and said talks with Tehran would restart this afternoon. NBC News chief business correspondent Christine Romans is here to talk about what this means for our wallets. Christine, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I mean, this has been such a roller coaster, but when we see those oil prices go down, eventually that usually filters over to the gas pump. What do we think?
It's been a real back and forth for consumers here because the president threatens these strikes and then he backs off these strikes and says they're talking with Iran, that negotiations will continue, although Iran more reticent about just where they are in this negotiation. But you've got gas prices right now at $4.09, a lot higher than they were a month ago and way more than they were a year ago. And, you know, Savannah, it's interesting because last year for the Labor Day holiday, it was the cheapest Labor Day for gas in 6 or 7 years. That had been a good story on the cost of living, gas prices. Since the Iran war, gas prices are now unaffordable like a lot of other things. So this is a part of the story that is really, I think it really bites for American consumers.
And what about, I mean, mortgage rates we know are so high right now. What does that mean for prospective home buyers, for somebody who wants to move?
I think a lot of people are surprised that the war with Iran is actually driving up mortgage rates too, that Polly in Peoria trying to buy a house is paying a lot more right now for borrowing that money because of the war. You've got mortgage rates, the 30-year fixed at 6.83%. That is about the highest in a year. Now, perhaps they might drift a little bit lower if we see oil prices falling like we do today and bond yields falling like we do today because of, you know, the developments in the Middle East. But again, very quickly these things reverse. So for someone buying a home, it costs more to finance that home today. In some cases, a lot more.
What are the bright spots, if any, right now in the economy?
Well, you've got the stock market still pretty near record highs. So Americans with money in a 401k, they are seeing paper wealth at least. Home prices are very near record highs as well. So a lot of people who are homeowners are seeing their net worth go up as well. AI, artificial intelligence spending, is something that has been holding up the economy overall. And the economy is still, in general, growing, although not as briskly as it was earlier this year. So those are some of the bright spots. I would say when I speak to economists and people who are watching the economy, they tell me that this economy is quite resilient. All of the blows that it has suffered from tariffs and from war and from high energy prices, many of them are surprised how resilient the American economy has been.
All right, before we let you go, we do have to talk about an exciting development around here for us. You have a new show launching today. It's going to be after this one. There it is right there. It's called Current with Christine Romans. It starts at 10 a.m. this morning. What can we expect?
Well, building on all the fine work that you guys have done, News Now is really a remarkable franchise here, giving people, without hyperbole, without jargon, without fast talk, giving them news, breaking news and context for real families. And what we hope to do is really take what's happening in the halls of power and on Wall Street and really saying what that means for the American household, for the kitchen table. So that is the framework that we're going to try to do. And obviously, there's a lot of breaking news. We want you to be current and know, see, isn't that sweet? And know exactly what's happening, you know, in your world. Another thing that we're really excited about, and you'll see it starting today at 10 a.m. Eastern, 50 states in 50 days. People, I think, are very overwhelmed by national politics and the mood in national politics. We're going local, where people are really making changes in their communities, finding a problem and fixing it. And it's a reminder that change happens with us. It doesn't necessarily happen, you know, in Washington on Wall Street. So a reminder that all of us have a lot of agency here.
Amazing. Well, Christine Romans, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're so excited for you. Everybody tune in at 10 a.m. today. All right, thanks, Christine. We'll see you every day. All right, speaking of money, it was a record-breaking weekend at the box office. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Get this, it posted a whopping $355 million debut, making it the second biggest opening weekend in domestic box office history. That, combined with The Odyssey, which pulled in another $51 million this past weekend, helped to create the biggest box office weekend ever. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas breaks down what it could mean for the future of movie theaters.
I'm Spider-Man.
Spider-Man swinging into theaters with one of the biggest movie openings of all time.
You're in danger. You just have to trust me.
The latest installment in the Tom Holland Zendaya-led franchise, raking in more than $300 million. Let's go! And with fans still lining up to get tickets for the Odyssey, it's the busiest weekend for theaters ever, at least so far.
You're the only one who can sense it.
Spider-Man Brand New Day, now the most successful debut for the character. That's popular for fans of all ages, even preschoolers.
There has to be something we can use.
Standing out even as some superheroes have seen a slump. Disappointing ticket sales for the latest Captain America movie from Marvel.
You want me? Come and get me!
And this year, DC Supergirl crashed.
This does not look like this is gonna end well.
As Mattel's Masters of the Universe stumbled at the box office. But it doesn't look like fan fatigue is setting in for Spider-Man.
I don't think that people ever moved away from superhero movies. I think they were just waiting for the big events again.
Industry insider Chris Randleman says Peter Parker's success means another superhero movie later this year could be even bigger.
We are going to probably set records once again.
That's when Avengers Doomsday and Dune 3 will face off, nicknamed Doomsday by fans.
I can't see what's ahead.
Pushing Hollywood, recovering from COVID shutdowns and 2 strikes, to a box office bonanza not seen this decade.
It's also a great, indication for later in the year that we're going to finally go over $10 billion in box office, which would be huge to get back to those numbers at that pre-pandemic level. It's a big win for the whole industry.
You ready?
Ready for one super summer at the box office and beyond. Chloe Malas, NBC News.
That's pretty fun. I still got to get to go see all these movies. Well, the Army is rolling out a new program meant to fuel military readiness. It's replacing ultra-processed foods at military mess halls with fresher, locally sourced ingredients. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson got a first-hand look at the new meals and spoke to soldiers about the revamped menu.
You just step up.
This infantry platoon perfects mountaineering skills at New York's Fort Drum.
We require a lot of good calories and all the nutrients that we can get.
Despite the obstacle of Army food.
This ain't spaghetti. This is Army noodles with ketchup.
The butt of Hollywood jokes in Band of Brothers and Biloxi Blues.
Something wrong with your meal, Connie? Yes, Sergeant, it's the first food I was ever afraid of.
Until now,
Don't.
the Army upgrading its food and dining halls to what it calls campus style.
Have a great day.
With options like grilled salmon, locally grown lettuce, and muscle-building protein shakes. The culmination of a 3-year campaign spearheaded by Lieutenant General Chris Mohan.
What is the problem you're trying to solve with this new program?
We have failed to meet our responsibilities for our soldiers by providing them with quality, nutritious food.
Compass, the company that feeds the Boston Red Sox, Chicago Bears, and Alabama football team, is now feeding soldiers at Forts Hood and Carson and Fort Drum, New York. Specialist Carson Gant, 21 years old from Allen, Texas, shows me the ropes, starting with the new information at soldiers' fingertips.
Yes. And then they have like little nutritional facts on all of them, so how many calories, protein, carbs.
And an array of choices.
And order 2082. This is it right here. Thank you, ma'am.
A big change from the old Army mess.
It was kind of just eating the same thing day after day. This new bistro definitely changes that.
Traffic is up triple digits at the new dining facilities at Forts Hood and Carson, and costs are down, says the Army, 15% and 25% per plate.
What does that mean in terms of military readiness?
Yeah, it's all about a better fit and better fed soldier is going to be able to fight and win. You have a much more effective combat capability.
Winning in the dining hall to win on the battlefield.
A little bit wider, there you go. Perfect.
Ann Thompson, NBC News, Fort Drum, New York.
We're turning now to an NBC News exclusive. The future of prescription delivery may already be here. For the first time in the U.S., a major healthcare system is using drones to deliver prescription medications directly to patients' homes, with some packages landing right in their backyards. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joins us with a behind-the-scenes look at the new program. It launches today. Hey, Maggie, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Is the future of medicine flight? Well, staff at the Cleveland Clinic say the answer is yes, and the future, they say, is here with, as you said, starting today, prescription meds literally falling from the sky.
Oh, you found him, Doctor.
Somewhere between the doctor's house calls of days gone by And flying cars of the future lives this first in modern American medicine, launching today a drone delivery pilot program from the world-renowned Cleveland Clinic. Those pills dispatched from this pharmacy fulfillment center, flying certain prescription meds to patients.
Oh my gosh. It looks like a little airplane.
Patients like Rebecca Wolkoff, who's getting her thyroid medication delivered right to her Ohio backyard.
What was that like to watch? That was super exciting. That was like probably how my kids feel about the garbage truck. I totally felt about the drone delivering it. Like a toddler's reaction. Yeah, like, oh my God, it's here, yay!
Bree Robinson manages the trailblazing home delivery pharmacy.
We have certain situations where our traditional carrier methods just cannot get the medication to that patient at the speed at which they need it. Having drone delivery in our arsenal is going to be really helpful.
Here's how it works. A pharmacist places a patient's prescribed meds into this drop box, prompting a drone to take off from this nearby docking station. It lowers a pod, scoops up the medicine, and flies to the patient's home.
When delivering medicine, a key advantage of these drones is speed. Obviously, traffic's not an issue, and they take off straight for your home at up to 70 miles per hour.
The technology provided by Zipline, a California-based drone startup that got its start a decade ago delivering medical supplies in Africa.
These are entirely autonomous.
They are. Deliveries that could have taken hours are now taking minutes.
The idea gaining steam nationwide, with Amazon testing a drone delivery program for medicine back in 2023, and major retailers and food delivery services already rolling out drones for consumer goods.
Your medicine's here.
My delivery's here. That's great.
The convenience a draw for Diane Haynes Windham, a wife, mom, and teacher. She needs medicine for migraines brought on by cancer treatments.
When you need this medicine, you need it.
I need it now. Yes, it takes one load off my back that I don't have to worry about.
Relief, thanks to a special delivery from the sky.
Is this the future? We're living in the future. The future is now.
Okay, so for now, these drone deliveries are limited to Cleveland Clinic patients who opt into the program and live in their kind of suburban Cleveland location, and also whose medicines don't have to be refrigerated. Right now, that's key. But they plan to expand this in the coming months and years. Also worth noting, it comes at no extra cost to patients. More broadly, Zipline, that drone startup, says it's working with more than 10 major healthcare groups to launch similar drone delivery programs across the U.S. Savannah?
All right. Pretty cool to see, Maggie. That's crazy. Thank you so much. We end this hour with the story of how a community sprung into action after a teenage girl lost one of her most treasured possessions at the beach. Sam Reed from our affiliate in Rhode Island explains.
As people pack the beaches along Atlantic Avenue in Westerly, and the crowds grow almost every minute, Misquamicut is a favorite for friends and families, and that includes 15-year-old McKinley Santos, who's local and a beach lover.
I've been trying to come to the beach as much as I can, so I've been a lot more than I have last summer.
One of those times was about 2 weeks ago at the town beach. McKinley went in the water and took off her necklace.
I pretty much wear it every single day.
She thought she successfully placed it in her tote bag, but it was gone. Later that night and the days that followed, the relentless search came up empty-handed.
I was just anxious the whole time. I mean, it was like, it felt like I was re-losing something that I loved, and I was just worried that I would never get it back.
You see, that necklace meant more than one might imagine. Her dad, Kenneth Santos, passed away nearly 2 years ago, but she carries him wherever she goes.
In order to kind of feel like I can still have him around no matter where I am, we got a necklace that I can put his ashes in.
McKinley says her grief still comes in waves. And speaking of, when Michelle Quansney and her 3 kids are here visiting from West Warwick, she says typically they spend all day in the water, but on this particular day, they didn't.
Like, it was cold, so we sat out on the side just digging.
Amongst the pile of sand, something silver caught their eye. The kids showed their mom and dad.
We're looking at it and we're like, wow, like, I think it holds somebody's ashes in here. It's like the screw at the bottom is just You could just tell.
Instead of handing it over immediately, Michelle put up a post in town community groups.
So I'm like, you know what? It's worth a shot.
Asking if anyone was missing a necklace with ashes, hoping to find its owner. Eventually, it got to McKinley.
I was just happy beyond belief.
Having given it to a town employee for safekeeping, days later, it was returned.
So happy for her. And yeah, it's just been a really big relief. We can't believe we actually found the owner just through Facebook.
And though her dad was a fisherman and the beach would have been a crazy coincidence for a place to lose it, it's now back where it belongs, right above her heart, where she can keep him near and dear.
It honestly meant the world. It was like, after feeling so anxious and worried about never finding it again, to someone actually going out of their way, it like meant everything to me.
All right, that's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off today. Right now on Morning News Now, August showers bring disgruntled travelers. Weekend storms causing trouble for summer travelers overnight, with the FAA issuing ground stops and delays up and down the East Coast. The Northeast gearing up for a washout of a week with heavy rain and flash flooding on the way. Meanwhile, out west, tens of millions of residents under heat alerts are trying to stay cool as those same conditions fuel raging wildfires across the Northeast. We have the devastating details from the ground in Washington, along with the latest forecast across the country. Meanwhile, trouble in the Trump administration, the president lashing out at his hand-picked U.S. attorney for dropping the case against a former Olympian accused of vandalizing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. Some members of his party applauding the decision.
If she can't prove her case, she was right to pull back. Because if you fool around with a federal judge, you will find out.
This as the president's pick for attorney general is striking a deal with the key Republican senators pushing back on his nomination. We're breaking down all the chaos in the Capitol. Plus, ongoing search as we mark 6 months since our colleague Savannah Guthrie's mother went missing. Her family is issuing a new plea for answers. We have their heartbreaking message, along with what we're learning from the ransom notes released by the Sheriff's Department. And finally, future of deliveries, how a drone delivery pilot program is bringing prescriptions straight to customers' backyards from the skies. The video is pretty cool. We're going to start this hour, though, with those massive wildfires burning out west. Thousands of people near Spokane in Washington state have been forced to leave their homes as the flames from more than a dozen fires have destroyed more than 600 structures. NBC News national correspondent Morgan Chesky is in Spokane. He joins us with the latest. Morgan, good morning.
Yeah, Savannah, good morning. And we are not far from an incredibly active firefight. This shifted overnight, and I'm standing in front of just one of the hundreds of homes that have already burned as a result of this fast-moving fire. In some cases, authorities say that entire neighborhoods were charred in just a few hours. And this is all happening during one of the worst wildfire seasons in decades.
This morning, wildfire devastation.
Oh my God, look at the whole block's gone, dude.
As flames tear through Spokane and Washington state, forcing more than 60,000 people to evacuate. Neighborhoods now obliterated, with shells of homes left behind.
There are just so many Washingtonians who have literally lost everything in a very, very short period of time. Just in a matter of hours, their lives changed in deeply dramatic and fundamental ways.
This time-lapse video from a bird feeder camera shows just how quickly destruction rolled in.
You start getting baby pictures, records, and so forth, and then you start looking at clothes and stuff, say, how much do I need?
Firefighters and volunteers now working around the clock to stop the spread.
Emergency management, disaster response is an absolute team sport.
Over the weekend, extreme temperatures brought the West Coast to a boiling point.
It just goes on and on and on, and there's no break.
With wildfires also spreading in Utah and Idaho.
It grew from there. 6,000 we were going into yesterday, and this morning it's at 36,000 acres now.
Back in Spokane, the community is rallying together to support first responders as flames rage on.
And investigators are still trying to pinpoint the cause of these multiple fires burning out here in Washington state. We do know that Washington Governor Bob Ferguson did speak with President Trump about sending additional federal resources this way to a place that would clearly need it. Savannah.
And Morgan, do crews have any idea on when they expect to get these fires under control?
They really don't. They're at the mercy of Mother Nature. Both of these fires here, or it's really 3 fires, 0% containment, and with winds expected to pick back up and these dry conditions expected through at least this week, there is a real sense of unease as to how much further these fires could spread. Savannah.
All right, Morgan Chesky, thank you very much. Well, let's get more on the dangerous weather that's sweeping across the country. Large parts of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are under the threat of heavy rain and flash flooding. Meanwhile, out west, several areas could see record-breaking high temperatures and damaging winds. NBC News correspondent Emily Ikeda is in Paterson, New Jersey with the latest. Emily, good morning.
Hey there. Well, this is a region that's still cleaning up from flooding that led to water rescues last week, now being hammered by even more rain. You can see some of the pooling here in this intersection, but I want to show you video of this intersection from this morning. That is what officials are most concerned about today. Floodwaters overtaking roadways as millions along the I-95 corridor head to and from work.
This morning, a contrast to those western wildfires. The East Coast hit with storms and flooding, slammed by rain from the Midwest.
Whoa.
To the south. Beachgoers surprised by this strong wind churning near Charleston. And in North Carolina, water rising quickly. A state of emergency declared in the Mount Airy area as floods rush through roads and buildings. An overhead view showing the water's reach. Rescuers working through the night, even reaching this car on Pilot Mountain. The wet weekend also causing flooding farther north. Rivers overflowing in Virginia and waterlogged streets in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, with new flood alerts across the New York City region today. While in the Midwest, stormy conditions bringing fierce winds and funnel clouds, and commuters facing a soggy journey today after another wild weather weekend.
And it's not just flooded roadways that are posing travel troubles today. Airports are now recovering from more than 11,000 flight cancellations and delays yesterday. Back to you.
All right, Emily, thank you so much. Well, let's get a closer look at what to expect this week with your Morning News Now weather. Meteorologist Rafael Miranda's back with us. Hey, Raf, good morning.
Hey there, Savannah. Unfortunately, we could expect many more delays today. A very stormy morning across the Northeast. And we've had that flash flooding, very heavy rainfall, thunder, lightning, the whole 9 yards, even some damaging winds moving through the area. The rain has temporarily stopped around New York City, but continues to spread into New England now. Torrential flooding, rainfall rates of 1 to 3 inches per hour heading up towards Connecticut. So the ride from New York City to Boston, that's going to be a tough one. Expect delays in New England at the airports as well. Flash flood warnings remain in effect for New York City. We're going to take a while to get the water to go down there, and there is more rain on the way over the next several hours. Several inches of rainfall for the major cities of the Northeast from Philadelphia towards Boston today. Also heavy rain in the Carolinas and down into Florida. That's during the day today. Out west, of course, it's the opposite. The fires, the lack of rain, the big problem. 99 large wildfires still burning in the lower 48. All of that smoke. And unfortunately, we have the elevated risk for fires to spread again today. It's the combination of that very low humidity along with winds gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. So this entire area heading into the Dakotas, a chance for more wildfires to start and spread there. The air quality has been a significant issue because of the fires. Right now, air quality affected across the Northwest. It is a little bit better right now, still very unhealthy in Spokane. Earlier this morning, it was into the hazardous category, so a little improvement, but still you want to avoid being outside in some spots there if you can. Boise, Salt Lake City, also seeing that smoke affecting the air quality. I expect that to continue throughout the day today. And then we turn to the heat. In the Southwest, heat warnings in effect for so many, 35 million impacted by dangerous heat. Yes, it's supposed to be hot this time of year in the Southwest, but not quite this hot. We're dealing with extreme risk for that heat danger. Long duration outside with heat like this could be deadly. High temperatures in the 100 and teens again across the Southwest. Now here in the Northeast, it's that wet start, but we do dry out tomorrow. A nice dry out day for Tuesday. Looking ahead now for the middle of the week, staying very warm in the Southwest. A chance of rain in the Midwest. We see scattered showers returning to the northeast, but it's not going to be the same type of flooding event like we're seeing now, Savannah. And even as we head into Thursday and Friday, staying very muggy here. You probably felt it yesterday and today, that high humidity that's enhancing the rain. That's not going anywhere. So a very tropical feel here in the Big Apple right through Friday, even into the weekend, perhaps.
All right, Raph. Oof, gosh, a lot going on all across the country. Thanks so much.
You got it.
Well, turning to the Middle East, where Iran is denying President Trump's claim that new talks with Tehran will take place later this afternoon. Over the weekend, the president called off massive attacks that he'd threatened to carry out after what he said were the perimeters of a deal appeared to be in place. NBC News chief international correspondent Keir Simmons joins us from Doha with the latest. Keir, good morning.
Savannah, good morning to you. It is clear that over this weekend, we were hours away potentially from an escalation that would have rocked this region. Now, this morning, stunningly, spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry saying, quote, "We are not currently holding the negotiations with the United States," appearing to contradict President Trump.
President Trump says talks with Iran begin this afternoon, but there's no confirmation from Iran this morning.
We're talking to them in the form of a negotiation.
Trump saying the U.S. was standing down from the brink of strikes he described as military terror, strength and power not seen since World War II.
It would have been a massive attack.
The president not saying where the new talks will happen or who will take part. Over the weekend, Iran's foreign minister did post this. Negotiations are on the path to being finalized. The news sending oil prices tumbling this morning. But now Iran's foreign ministry says it does not plan to send a delegation or host a delegation in the coming days.
We're also asked by Iran, very strongly actually. They said we'd like to make a deal. Now, you know, I don't know what they say because a lot of times they'll say that to me and then they'll go out and say, we don't know what he's talking about. Obviously, they don't want to be attacked.
President Trump says multiple countries encouraged him to stop and negotiate after bombarding Iran in recent weeks.
We're all set to go, but when the allies ask to call it off, you got to sort of say, well, let's see.
Saudi Arabia and officials here in Qatar playing a central role.
The region wants this to end. They don't want escalation.
While the president signaling he is ready to launch his threatened massive attack, quote, anytime.
There's a group of people that would like me to just do it. And there's another group of people that does not want me to do it.
Now, there are negotiations, Savannah, between Iran and another country in this region, Oman, both of which, of course, are next to the Strait of Hormuz, over the Strait of Hormuz. But at the moment, the Iranian regime saying that it does not plan to relinquish control over the Strait. And just last night, we got news from a body monitoring the Strait of Hormuz of another explosion near a vessel.
All right, Keir, and tell us what's happening where you are in Qatar.
Well, I mean, you can tell. I mean, it's peaceful here. There haven't been strikes in recent nights. Qatar has been subjected to attacks by Iran. Neighbouring countries, Bahrain, Kuwait, even as far over as Jordan, have seen more attacks. And there has been substantial damage, particularly where there are U.S. bases. So I've got to tell you, in this region, there is a sense that the leadership of these countries didn't want this war, urged President Trump not to embark on it, and are now having to deal with the consequences.
All right, Keir Simmons, thank you so much. Well, also this morning, there's a major development in the weeks-long standoff over President Trump's pick to lead the Justice Department. Todd Blanche's nomination appears to be back on track after he announced a key concession to satisfy 2 Republican holdouts in the Senate. NBC Chief White House correspondent Garrett Haake has the details for us. Hey, Garrett, good morning.
Savannah, remember, Todd Blanche's nomination for the permanent Attorney General position had been tied up for weeks over President Trump's desire to keep fighting for his so-called anti-weaponization fund. But a pair of GOP senators felt that that fund was so politically toxic that they refused to vote for Blanche until it was declared dead in writing. And now, with this one-page order released overnight, it appears to be so as a key vote on Blanche approaches. Overnight, Washington deal-making impacting President Trump's cabinet. With his nomination in jeopardy, acting Attorney General Todd Blanche searching for an agreement to get his confirmation back on track after a battle within Trump's own party.
We have a man named Todd Blanche. He's outstanding in every way.
Blanche agreeing to the demands of two key Republican senators, issuing an order overnight that he says officially rescinds the so-called anti-weaponization fund. The controversial $1.8 billion fund would have offered taxpayer money to some people who claimed they were victimized by the federal government, potentially including some of those involved in the January 6th attack on Capitol Hill. Republicans John Cornyn and Tom Tillis said they could not support Blanche's confirmation until the fund was rescinded in writing.
We need to conform the actual document to what Todd Blanche testified to under oath.
President Trump defending the fund as recently as last night.
A lot of people like it. A lot of big supporters of Trump like it.
And saying if Blanche wasn't confirmed, he could bring it back. Blanche now posting an order establishing, quote, beyond any doubt that there is no fund. The fund was created as part of an agreement to settle a lawsuit from President Trump against the IRS, which also caused some controversy by including tax protections for the Trump family. Now, Blanche also saying that those protections applied only retroactively to the president and his sons and would not bar audits against the Trumps in the future, all in an effort to reach agreement ahead of a key Tuesday vote. And this morning, Senator Cornyn's office confirms that this agreement does satisfy his concerns about supporting Blanche ahead of that first committee vote tomorrow. No word yet from Tillis or from President Trump, whose refusal, even when he was asked last night to fully disavow this fund, has complicated every step of this process with Blanche.
All right, Garrett, thank you very much. And also, while Blanche did put this order in writing, is it actually enforceable, Garrett, in any way if he changes his mind after he's to be confirmed?
I think it would be very difficult for Blanche to just change his mind on this. First, the pot of money basically goes away. This isn't something that's sitting around in a drawer at DOJ. They would have to create some other vehicle to recreate this fund, and that would mean legislation. We've heard from other Republican senators, not just Cornyn and Tillis, that they don't like this deal. Cornyn and Tillis were kind of the heat shield. They're not running for re-election or not running for re-election anymore in the case of John Cornyn. So they could kind of take the heat from President Trump, while a lot of other Republicans felt the same way. Any effort to bring this back later, I think, would result in enormous pushback by those elected Republicans, even something President Trump doesn't want to see.
All right, Garrett Haig for us. Thank you so much. Well, this morning, Ohio Congressman Max Miller is addressing serious abuse allegations made by his ex-wife while vowing to move forward with his re-election campaign. NBC News Chief Justice and National Affairs correspondent Kelly O'Donnell has the latest from Washington. Kelly, good morning.
Good morning. A deeply personal and painful set of accusations in a well-known Ohio family has spilled over this morning in a very public political controversy that has drawn in a sitting U.S. senator and comments from President Trump. A defiant Ohio Congressman Max Miller denying troubling accusations.
I categorically deny abusing my former wife.
The 37-year-old Republican and divorced father embroiled in a family crisis, taking to social media to push back. Miller is running for re-election to a third term in Congress. In a live stream Sunday, he spoke directly to voters, disputing a string of specific allegations of domestic abuse.
So ask yourself, if I had assaulted her, would she have offered to cook me dinner 6 days later?
His ex-wife, Emily Moreno, has said he may have been responsible for their toddler's broken collarbone, but no charges were brought against him.
I have never abused our daughter.
According to police reports, Moreno also said that Miller scalded her with hot water. His response?
It was horseplay in our kitchen. I sprayed water at her from the sprayer attached to our kitchen sink tap water, which does not reach boiling temperature or scalding.
The congressman said his former wife, the daughter of Republican Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio, has struggled with significant mental health issues. The senator going public Sunday, describing the last 2 years as pure hell, and he called on Miller to step down, writing on social media, "He is a danger to my daughter, and I hold my breath every minute he has custody of my granddaughter." If there are any basic standards of character required to hold elected office, Max Miller fails them. On Air Force One, President Trump, who has endorsed Miller, was asked if the congressman should resign.
Well, I'm going to look at it. I mean, so far it's accusations. I'll be looking at it.
The fact this is all blowing up now may also affect the political calendar. Ohio Republicans would have until Wednesday to name a new candidate and replace Miller on the ballot in what is a very tight race to keep that House seat. Miller said he is not getting out of the race and intends to win in November.
All right, Kelly, thank you so much. And we will be bringing you results from Tuesday's midterm primaries in a News Now special. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night right here. Be sure to tune in. We've got much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, economy check-in as gas prices remain high and mortgage rates climb. We're checking in on the American consumer and asking whether any relief is in sight. Up first, though, back in business, vineyards in France are eager to welcome back tourists as wildfires that ravaged the country for weeks finally get under control. Our Raf Sanchez paid a visit to wine country for a first-hand look at the impact of these fires. Stay with us. Welcome back. In overseas news, a 4.7 magnitude earthquake shook Naples on Friday night, causing widespread outages, structural damage, and dozens of injuries. NBC's Matt Bradley has the story.
It was the strongest quake to strike southern Italy in 4 decades. The 4.7 magnitude earthquake on Friday night near Naples triggered rock slides, crumpled buildings, and crushed cars, leaving residents and tourists rattled. The quake left more than 24 people injured, 5 of whom were admitted to hospitals. This woman says her father built their house. Now they have nothing left. The area is prone to earthquakes, but there's anger at the local government, with some people arguing the response was slow. This woman says no one came to check on them or told them what to do after the quake. One victim remains hospitalized, according to Italian officials. But the emotional aftershocks here are still being felt. Matt Bradley, NBC News.
Well, firefighters in France are now starting to contain the deadly wildfires that have scorched parts of the country over the past couple of weeks. Now, despite hundreds of thousands of acres being burned, the French government says the country is still safe to visit. That is a welcome message for many of the country's vineyards that rely on international tourism for business. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez went to one of those vineyards in Bordeaux to see firsthand how the wildfires are impacting wine country.
The wildfires raging across southern France have burned hundreds of homes, forced thousands to evacuate, and sent clouds of threatening smoke over Bordeaux's world-famous wine region. To find out how the wine industry is weathering the flames, we traveled to the Chateau de Rouillac, an estate once owned by the nobleman who designed central Paris. Laurent Cisneros opened his winery here 16 years ago, and now these vines produce enough grapes for up to 120,000 bottles a year.
Is there any danger from the fires here?
No, because the vineyard is protected. The only problem we have is economic, because people have been told not to come to vineyards and to Bordeaux, even though the vineyards are open to the public.
Vineyard tourism is an increasingly important part of the global wine industry. Chateau de Rouillac usually welcomes 6,000 visitors a year, including Americans like Sebastian Joseph Day, defensive tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Usually you will have a lot of people coming. You will have like tourists stopping from the highway. And as you can see today, it's pretty empty because it's totally empty today.
No visitors means no tourism revenue. A major blow for a business now expanding into hosting weddings for international couples. Cisneros tells us his grapes, which are still young and will stay on the vine until August, won't be affected by the smoke.
The wine is going to taste okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Today, the maturity of the grapes is at the stage of early ripening. The skin is hard and thick, so there is no risk.
Paradoxically, he says the intense heat means the grapes need less humidity treatment this year. And so 2026 may end up an unusually natural vintage. But for now, there's little to do but wait for the tourists to return.
Santé.
Santé, santé. Cheers. And raise a glass to a future, hopefully free from flames. Raph Sanchez, NBC News.
Well, the wildfire crisis in Europe is now making its way east to Greece. Over the weekend, firefighters battling the flames there were involved in a deadly mid-air collision. NBC's Matt Bodner joins us now to take us around the world in 60 seconds. Hey, Matt, good morning.
Savannah, good morning. Two firefighting helicopters collided yesterday while battling a massive wildfire raging to the west of Athens. Both aircraft had 2 crew members aboard, and one of those crews did die in the collision. The crew from the other aircraft is being treated in the hospital. Gale force winds in Greece are complicating the airborne firefighting efforts and also fueling the fires. Moving along now to Australia, where a former coach for the national rugby team is on trial over accusations of sexual offenses against 6 men and boys. The accusations range over a period of 20 years. The 85-year-old defendant in the case is Alan Jones. He was later known for his work as a Sydney radio host. 70 witnesses are lined up for the trial, which is expected to take months. And we'll wrap up this hour with New Zealand ultra runner Sophie Woods. Over the past month, she's run 1,240 miles across 8 European countries, setting the record for a route known as the Via Alpina. She beat the previous record by 6 days. That was set by British runner Jake Catterall in 2024. Back to you.
All right, Matt, very cool. Thank you so much. Well, coming up, the latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie this morning. After the break, an emotional new plea to the public from Savannah herself as police release those 2 ransom notes that could have come from the alleged abductor 6 months after Nancy's disappearance. This is Morning News Now. We are back with a story that is very personal to us. It's the ongoing search for Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy. Saturday marked 6 months since her disappearance. Well, now Savannah and her family are once again pleading for whoever is responsible to come forward with answers. It comes as the Sheriff's Department has released 2 ransom notes that were sent the week after Nancy's abduction. NBC News correspondent Camila Bernal has the details.
6 months after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, a heartbreaking message from her daughter Savannah, who says she and her family have lived every moment, every breath, and every heartbeat in agony and despair ever since, and renewing a call for help in the case. We are desperate. We need someone to come forward. Someone knows something. Someone suspects something. Someone recognizes the writing in the ransom demand notes. The notes, potentially from a kidnapper and sent to local news outlets at the time of Nancy's disappearance, were released by the Sheriff's Department Friday. The first note demanded up to $6 million. She will be held for ransom, and once payment is received, she will be released unharmed. Days later, a second note saying, "We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now."
The style of the writing is might jog somebody to kind of think about who would have written that.
Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano saying investigators don't see this as a cold case, telling NBC News,
"We have some of the brightest minds in the world on this. Our DNA being analyzed not by our lab or the FBI lab, but by several labs around this country."
The Guthrie family still offering a reward. "We will never stop looking for answers, and we will never stop looking for the light," Savannah said.
I think we're going to get to some resolution here. I just wish I could say it's going to happen tomorrow or next week.
Camila Bernal, NBC News.
NBC News law enforcement analyst Evie Pamporos is here with more on this investigation. Evie, always great to have you with us. Okay, so, I mean, it's been months. It's been 6 months. We never saw these ransom notes. Investigators had not released them. First, let's just talk about why now. Why were they a secret? Now they're public. Why would they do that?
I think they're releasing them now to reinvigorate the investigation. To me, from an investigative perspective, I don't need to release anything new if things are moving along. So when I see that and the combination of Savannah pleading, I think it's probably thought out, you know, maybe we can create a little bit momentum, maybe they can write back to us, maybe we can create more buzz. So I think that this is really to kind of reinvigorate the investigation. If you're moving along, you don't need anything new, you don't need to do this. They needed to do this because they're trying to bring life back to the investigation.
What stands out to you from these two notes? Can you glean anything?
So I've done a linguistic analysis, actually. It's when you read statements from people and you analyze what they're saying. I want to say first, science and evidence solve investigations. So you can look at these, you can analyze these and try to figure out who wrote them. Is there anything with that linguistic style? But in the end, I don't know really where it's going to take you. The way I would use linguistic analysis typically would to derive a person's thinking, their motive and whatnot. Now, the one thing that is interesting to me is that actually in the second note, they apologized. Right? And they're telling you we didn't intend to do this. And it's probably true. Otherwise, they would not have written that. You could also look at, and something actually you brought up off camera, the way they refer to the U.S. dollar. You know, would a citizen refer to it that way? Could it be somebody maybe from overseas? But at the same time, you would have to think that they really thought thoughtfully, perhaps, when they wrote these and wrote them in such a way to kind of throw people off. So I just don't know from the language if you're really gonna get that much information. To me, the big thing would be like, how did they send them, which was electronic, and tracing that back. The other thing that I noticed is, they actually blacked out the instructions for the ransom. So that probably is because they don't want, if you think about the case when it was actually happening, think about the onslaught of people in that town and that location. I'm thinking maybe there's location information, maybe they don't want individuals going into whatever instructions or sites, perhaps, so it might tamper the information or tamper evidence, or just having people come on in is gonna kind of throw things into a array. You wanna control as much as you can without having the public coming in and sort of touching everything.
How unusual is it in a case like this, 6 months in, to be at the place that this investigation seems to be, to have no suspects?
I think it's unusual because of the light that's been on it, because it's Savannah's mother, because of all the media. That is where I kind of pause. Do we have many cold cases? Yes, we do. But the fact that there's so much attention on this case, and there have been, you know, and I'm just relaying what was heard, issues between supposedly FBI and the local. FBI made claims like, hey, the locals didn't let us in early enough. Locals are saying we did. And I will tell you, as someone who worked in this field, both local and federal, those things do happen. And sometimes, and again, I can't say that this is happening or this happened in this case, where local authorities don't want federal authorities coming in because they want to take ownership of the case. They don't want to hand it over. I mean, I would go to local departments and I would have to walk in and almost sometimes plead my case and say, hey, I'm here to work with you. I'm not here to take anything away from you. That would just genuinely happen. I mean, more so, I would even have to say I'm U.S. Secret Service, which had a much, I don't want to say better reputation, but a different reputation in working with, and that would help ease things. So I do think that played a role, and here we are.
What could jumpstart this at this point? What is the type of thing it takes 6 months in to have a breakthrough?
The breakthrough is going to be if we get any type of correspondence from these individuals. I don't know if we will, but that creates new leads. Another breakthrough, and I'm trying to think of how to say this because we're here at NBC, the discovery of Nancy, right? Could that lead to evidence, forensic evidence, any ability to trace communication if something new were to happen? I'm suspecting they hit a dead end as far as tracing how this information was passed. And honestly, maybe somebody out there growing a conscience, feeling bad, or seeing something, saying, you know what, I think I saw this. Because the individuals who did this are still out there. Where, we don't know, but they still exist. So then you kind of hope somebody saw something. You know, if you see something, say something.
Absolutely. Evie Pomporis, thank you so much for walking us through this one. Like we mentioned, it's, of course, it's personal and it's tough. But as Evie was just saying, someone does know something. If you have any information in the Nancy Guthrie case, please call the FBI tip line. It's on your screen right now. It's just 1-800-CALL-FBI. The Guthrie family is also offering a $1 million reward for information. Well, coming up, the future of flight. It looks like it's coming for your medicine cabinet next. When Morning News Now returns, the American healthcare giant that's looking to drone technology to help patients get their precious prescriptions without waiting in line. We'll show you how it works after this. We are back with a check-in on our economy this morning. Oil prices are sliding again amid hopes the Iran war might be de-escalating. That is after President Trump held off on a new round of attacks and said talks with Tehran would restart this afternoon. NBC News chief business correspondent Christine Romans is here to talk about what this means for our wallets. Christine, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so I mean, this has been such a roller coaster, but when we see those oil prices go down, eventually that usually filters over to the gas pump. What do we think?
It's been a real back and forth for consumers here because the president threatens these strikes and then he backs off these strikes and says they're talking with Iran, that negotiations will continue, although Iran more reticent about just where they are in this negotiation. But you've got gas prices right now at $4.09, a lot higher than they were a month ago and way more than they were a year ago. And, you know, Savannah, it's interesting because last year for the Labor Day holiday, it was the cheapest Labor Day for gas in 6 or 7 years. That had been a good story on the cost of living, gas prices. Since the Iran war, gas prices are now unaffordable like a lot of other things. So this is a part of the story that is really, I think it really bites for American consumers.
And what about, I mean, mortgage rates we know are so high right now. What does that mean for prospective home buyers, for somebody who wants to move?
I think a lot of people are surprised that the war with Iran is actually driving up mortgage rates too, that Polly in Peoria trying to buy a house is paying a lot more right now for borrowing that money because of the war. You've got mortgage rates, the 30-year fixed at 6.83%. That is about the highest in a year. Now, perhaps they might drift a little bit lower if we see oil prices falling like we do today and bond yields falling like we do today because of, you know, the developments in the Middle East. But again, very quickly these things reverse. So for someone buying a home, it costs more to finance that home today. In some cases, a lot more.
What are the bright spots, if any, right now in the economy?
Well, you've got the stock market still pretty near record highs. So Americans with money in a 401k, they are seeing paper wealth at least. Home prices are very near record highs as well. So a lot of people who are homeowners are seeing their net worth go up as well. AI, artificial intelligence spending, is something that has been holding up the economy overall. The economy is still, in general, growing, although not as briskly as it was earlier this year. So those are some of the bright spots. I would say when I speak to economists and people who are watching the economy, they tell me that this economy is quite resilient. All of the blows that it has suffered from tariffs and from war and from high energy prices, many of them are surprised how resilient the American economy has been.
All right, before we let you go, we do have to talk about an exciting development around here for us. You have a new show launching today. It's going to be after this one. There it is right there. It's called Current with Christine Romans. It starts at 10 a.m. this morning. What can we expect?
Well, building on all the fine work that you guys have done, News Now is really a remarkable franchise here, giving people, without hyperbole, without jargon, without fast talk, giving them news, breaking news and context for real families. And what we hope to do is really take what's happening in the halls of power and on Wall Street and really saying what that means for the American household, for the kitchen table. So that is the framework that we're going to try to do. And obviously, there's a lot of breaking news. We want you to be current and know. See, this is nice and sweet. And know exactly what's happening, you know, in your world. Another thing that we're really excited about, and you'll see it starting today at 10 a.m. Eastern, 50 states in 50 days. People, I think, are very overwhelmed by national politics and the mood in national politics. We're going local, where people are really making changes in their communities, finding a problem and fixing it. And it's a reminder that change happens with us. It doesn't necessarily happen, you know, in Washington on Wall Street. So a reminder that all of us have a lot of agency here.
Amazing. Well, Christine Romans, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're so excited for you. Everybody tune in at 10 a.m. today. All right, thanks, Christine. We'll see you every day. All right, well, speaking of money, it was a record-breaking weekend at the box office. Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Get this, it posted a whopping $355 million debut, making it the second biggest opening weekend in domestic box office history. That, combined with The Odyssey, which pulled in another $51 million this past weekend, helped to create the biggest box office weekend ever. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas breaks down what it could mean for the future of movie theaters.
I'm Spider-Man.
Spider-Man swinging into theaters with one of the biggest movie openings of all time.
You're in danger. You just have to trust me.
The latest installment in the Tom Holland Zendaya-led franchise, raking in more than $300 million. And with with fans still lining up to get tickets for the Odyssey, it's the busiest weekend for theaters ever, at least so far.
You're the only one who can sense it.
Spider-Man Brand New Day, now the most successful debut for the character. That's popular for fans of all ages, even preschoolers.
There has to be something we can use.
Standing out even as some superheroes have seen a slump. Disappointing ticket sales for the latest Captain America movie from Marvel.
You want me? Come and get me!
And this year, DC's Supergirl crashed.
This does not look like this is going to end well.
As Mattel's Masters of the Universe stumbled at the box office. But it doesn't look like fan fatigue is setting in for Spider-Man.
I don't think that people ever moved away from superhero movies. I think they were just waiting for the big events again.
Industry insider Chris Randleman says Peter Parker's success means another superhero movie later this year could be even bigger.
We are going to probably set records once again.
That's when Avengers Doomsday and Dune 3 will face off, nicknamed Doomsday by fans.
I can't see what's ahead.
Pushing Hollywood, recovering from COVID shutdowns and 2 strikes, to a box office bonanza not seen this decade.
It's also a great, indication for later in the year that we're going to finally go over $10 billion in box office, which would be huge to get back to those numbers at that pre-pandemic level. It's a big win for the whole industry.
You ready?
Ready for one super summer at the box office and beyond. Chloe Malas, NBC News.
That's pretty fun. I still got to get to go see all these movies. Well, the Army is rolling out a new program meant to fuel military readiness. It's replacing ultra-processed foods at military mess halls with fresher, locally sourced ingredients. NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson got a first-hand look at the new meals and spoke to soldiers about the revamped menu.
You just step up.
This infantry platoon perfects mountaineering skills at New York's Fort Drum.
We require a lot of good calories and all the nutrients that we can get.
Despite the obstacle of Army food.
This ain't spaghetti. This is Army noodles with ketchup.
The butt of Hollywood jokes in Band of Brothers and Biloxi Blues.
Something wrong with your meal, Connie? Your sergeant's the first food I was ever afraid of.
Until now,
Don't.
the Army upgrading its food and dining halls to what it calls campus style.
Have a great day.
With options like grilled salmon, locally grown lettuce, and muscle-building protein shakes. The culmination of a 3-year campaign spearheaded by Lieutenant General Chris Mohan.
What is the problem you're trying to solve with this new program?
We have failed to meet our responsibilities for our soldiers by providing them with quality, nutritious food.
Compass, the company that feeds the Boston Red Sox, Chicago Bears, and Alabama football team, is now feeding soldiers at Forts Hood and Carson and Fort Drum, New York. Specialist Carson Gant, 21 years old from Allen, Texas, shows me the ropes, starting with the new information at soldiers' fingertips.
Yes. And then they have like little nutritional facts on all of them, so how many calories, protein, carbs.
And an array of choices.
And then order 2082. This is it right here. Thank you, ma'am.
A big change from the old Army mess.
It was kind of just eating the same thing day after day. This new bistro definitely changes that.
Traffic is up triple digits at the new dining facilities at Forts Hood and Carson, and costs are down, says the Army, 15% and 25% per plate.
What does that mean in terms of military readiness?
Yeah, it's all about a better fit and better fed soldier is going to be able to fight and win. You have a much more effective combat capability.
Winning in the dining hall to win on the battlefield.
A little bit wider, there you go. Perfect.
Ann Thompson, NBC News, Fort Drum, New York.
We're turning now to an NBC News exclusive. The future of prescription delivery may already be here. For the first time in the U.S., a major healthcare system is using drones to deliver prescription medications directly to patients' homes, with some packages landing right in their backyards. NBC News correspondent Maggie Vespa joins us with a behind-the-scenes look at the new program. It launches today. Hey, Maggie, good morning.
Hey, Savannah, good morning. Is the future of medicine flight? Well, staff at the Cleveland Clinic say the answer is yes, and the future, they say, is here with, as you said, starting today, prescription meds literally falling from the sky.
Oh, you found him, Doctor.
Somewhere between the doctor's house calls of days gone by And flying cars of the future lives this first in modern American medicine, launching today a drone delivery pilot program from the world-renowned Cleveland Clinic. Those pills dispatched from this pharmacy fulfillment center, flying certain prescription meds to patients. Oh my gosh. It looks like a little airplane. Patients like Rebecca Wolkoff, who's getting her thyroid medication delivered right to her Ohio backyard.
What was that like to watch? That was super exciting. That was like probably how my kids feel about the garbage truck. I totally felt about the drone delivering it. Like a toddler's reaction. Yeah, like oh my God, it's here, yay!
Bree Robinson manages the trailblazing home delivery pharmacy.
We have certain situations where our traditional carrier methods just cannot get the medication to that patient at the speed at which they need it. Having drone delivery in our arsenal is going to be really helpful.
Here's how it works. A pharmacist places a patient's prescribed meds into this drop box, prompting a drone to take off from this nearby docking station. It lowers a pod, scoops up the medicine, and flies to the patient's home. When delivering medicine, a key advantage of these drones is speed. Obviously, traffic's not an issue, and they take off straight for your home at up to 70 miles per hour. The technology provided by Zipline, a California-based drone startup that got its start a decade ago delivering medical supplies in Africa. These are entirely autonomous.
They are. Deliveries that could have taken hours are now taking minutes.
The idea gaining steam nationwide, with Amazon testing a drone delivery program for medicine back in 2023, and major retailers and food delivery services already rolling out drones for consumer goods.
Your medicine's here.
My delivery's here. That's great.
The convenience a draw for Diane Haynes Windham, a wife, mom, and teacher. She needs medicine for migraines brought on by cancer treatments. When you need this medicine, you need it.
I need it now. Yes, it takes one load off my back that I don't have to worry about.
Relief, thanks to a special delivery from the sky.
Is this the future? We're living in the future. The future is now.
Okay, so for now, these drone deliveries are limited to Cleveland Clinic patients who opt into the program and live in their kind of suburban Cleveland location, and also whose medicines don't have to be refrigerated. Right now, that's key. But they plan to expand this in the coming months and years. Also worth noting, it comes at no extra cost to patients. More broadly, Zipline, that drone startup, says it's working with more than 10 major healthcare groups to launch similar drone delivery programs across the U.S. Savannah?
All right. Pretty cool to see, Maggie. That's crazy. Thank you so much. Well, coming up, the kindness of strangers. Good Samaritans reunited a teen with a special piece of jewelry lost on a New England beach.
After feeling so anxious and worried about never finding it again, to someone actually going out of their way, it meant everything to me.
How they use social media to bring this beach discovery back home. That's next. We end this hour with the story of how a community sprung into action after a teenage girl lost one of her most treasured possessions at the beach. Sam Reed from our affiliate in Rhode Island explains.
As people pack the beaches along Atlantic Avenue in Westerly, and the crowds grow almost every minute, Misquamicut is a favorite for friends and families, and that includes 15-year-old McKinley Santos, who's local and a beach lover.
I've been trying to come to the beach as much as I can, so I've been a lot more than I have last summer.
One of those times was about 2 weeks ago at the town beach. McKinley went in the water and took off her necklace.
I pretty much wear it every single day.
She thought she successfully placed it in her tote bag, but it was gone. Later that night and the days that followed, the relentless search came up empty-handed.
I was just anxious the whole time. I mean, it was like, it felt like I was re-losing something that I loved, and I was just worried that I would never get it back.
You see, that necklace meant more than one might imagine. Her dad, Kenneth Santos, passed away nearly 2 years ago, but she carries him wherever she goes.
In order to kind of feel like I can still have him around no matter where I am, we got a necklace that I can put his ashes in.
McKinley says her grief still comes in waves. And speaking of, when Michelle Quansney and her 3 kids are here visiting from West Warwick, she says typically they spend all day in the water, but on this particular day, they didn't.
Like, it was cold, so we sat out on the side just digging.
Amongst the pile of sand, something silver caught their eye. The kids showed their mom and dad.
We're looking at it and we're like, wow, like I think it holds somebody's ashes in here. It's like the screw at the bottom is just, you could just tell.
Instead of handing it over immediately, Michelle put up a post in town community groups.
So I'm like, you know what? It's worth a shot.
Asking if anyone was missing a necklace with ashes, hoping to find its owner. Eventually, it got to McKinley.
I was just happy beyond belief.
Having given it to a town employee for safekeeping, days later, it was returned.
So happy for her, and yeah, it's just been a really big relief. We can't believe we actually found the owner just through Facebook.
And though her dad was a fisherman and the beach would have been a crazy coincidence for a place to lose it, it's now back where it belongs, right above her heart, where she can keep him near and dear.
It honestly meant the world. It was like, after feeling so anxious and worried about never finding it again, to someone actually going out of the way, it like meant everything to me.
Excuse me, our thanks to Sam Reid for that story. Excuse me. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but the news continues right now.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.